Hi there, Peggy Reyes from the Branson International Film Festival, and I have the honor and privilege to interview some of the directors, writers, musicians of the Heart of Africa. And it's almost going to become a series now, right? So we've had Heart of Africa 1 at our film festival last year, and everyone thoroughly enjoyed that. And then we get the honor and privilege of having Heart of Africa 2 being played Thursday, I believe at 6 o'clock. Yes, Thursday night at 6 o'clock Central Standard Time. So if you are at our film festival, make sure that you are seeing that. If you have any of the virtual tickets, make sure you get to watch that Heart of Africa too, because you will not be disappointed. So I'm going to introduce a few of the folks that are on our interview today. We have Bruce Young, who is here. Margaret is his wife, and she's not able to be on this interview today, but she does send her well wishes to everyone. And then we also have Elias James, who's on the call with us today. He was in charge of the music, and I think he said he did a few editing, a little bit of editing for this one as well. And then we have Tshoper. I'm not going to try and say your last name. You can say it. And you are here from Africa on this Zoom call today. So technology is a great thing.
Yeah.
So thank you, gentlemen, for interviewing with us today. I just wanted to, again, thank you for your submission, and thank you for this wonderful project that you are allowing us to share with all those who come to the film festival at Branson next week already. So I know we got to do this last year virtually, and it was really fun interacting virtually with you guys last year. Too bad we can't see you in person this year, but hopefully we'll get to do some more interacting virtually with you again, Bruce, this year for that film festival. So without any further ado, I just wanted to kind of turn it over to you first, Bruce, and just, you know, going from a 1 to a 2, how did that work, and what was that transition to get from the first one to the second one?
Yeah, thanks. That's a great question. It's not what you might imagine. For one thing, Heart of Africa 2 is actually not a sequel in the traditional sense to the first Heart of Africa. It's more of a companion piece. In fact, the subtitle is Companions, Heart of Africa 2, Companions. And that's because essentially it's telling a parallel story, or in effect the same story, but from a different point of view.
Right.
The first one tells the story it focuses on the African missionary, Gabriel Ngandu. The second one focuses on the American missionary, Jason Martin. And I'm going to see if Tshoper has anything to add to that, but after he does, I'd like to explain how this came about, what led up to our making the second one. But just want to see if Tshoper.
Yeah, if I'm wrong, Bruce, you can help me because my English is still very bad. So then we did a first editing and we got 4 hours. And we bring the film to some filmmaker from America. They saw the movie and give us some suggestions. So, and we decided to don't keep the 2 stories in the same film. We decided to focus the film on the African companion, which was Ngandu. And when we saw this version, we saw that it works better than to keep the 2 stories. I was a little bit disappointed because when we wrote the story, it was very good on the script. But when we was on the screen, the two stories doesn't match, and we just decided to keep one story. And it was later, Margaret said, but we have about 2 hours in our garbage. So why don't you try to make another movie? I was like, no, I'm tired. I cannot edit this. And but we had the chance to have Elias. He already helped us to edit. I did the first draft of editing, and then Elias did the half of works, and it was wonderful to have the two films. So the story is very long, but that. I don't know if Bruce, you have something else to complete.
Yeah, if I could add a bit more. Yes, essentially, almost all the footage in the second movie was from the shooting of the first film. We just had so much footage available. And as Tshoper said, the first film, we learned in the process of editing it that it had to be focused to be the story that it needed to be the right shape and length and so on. But Margaret really felt there was, not only was there a story in the remaining footage, but a story that needed to be told. And the big advantage of it is that you see the issues from two different points of view. And that makes them, it's just a fascinating thing to see and to think about, but it also highlights the reality that we see things, we see things differently, depending on our cultural background and our individual way of thinking and seeing. So the second film intersects with the first one at a few points, but it's mostly different. But it's telling essentially the same story. The only additional filming that was done for the second one were some drone shots that Tshoper really wanted to do, wanted to be able to have some drone shots. And the other thing was we did some voiceovers with the main actor playing the American missionary. And those voiceovers give the shape to the story. They come at about 4 points along the way and help make this his story. So anyway, that in a nutshell is how we came up with the second film.
I had to turn that mute back off. So trying to remember that. So this was being edit piece right here, Deborah. So I was trying to remember to turn my microphone off when you all speak so that it doesn't pick me up on the screen because of how it's being recorded with Deborah. So just wanted to remind all of us that again, and then after I speak, kind of count to 3 before you start speaking so that we can make sure that we pick all that up as well. So okay, back to interview now. Thank you guys for sharing that perspective with us. So I know that when people watch, if they did watch the first one, that they will see that it is from a different perspective, same story, different perspective. And I love that you've done that, because isn't that life? You know, especially it's been made more aware, I think, in 2020, people's perspectives. And, you know, same situation, but different perspective. And, you know, we all walk through the same life, but we all come at it from different backgrounds and different perspectives and, you know, different upbringings. And so I love that you guys have put this together. And I actually have not watched the whole thing yet because I didn't want to ruin it for myself. I have family members that are going to be at the film festival this year, so I'm super excited to watch it for the first time completely with them. So thanks again for, you know, your take on showing different sides of a story. So Elias, we want to ask you some questions now.
Well, before you leave what you just said, on that showing two perspectives thing, I think one of the most interesting things about editing the second film is Tshoper decided that it wouldn't have any scene whatsoever in it that the American companion didn't experience firsthand. So there's no periphery, there's no additional context. It's exactly what he's experiencing with nothing else. I think that was actually probably really challenging for Tshoper to do, but it was really great. So the first film is an hour and a half long, and this covers the same timeline, but it has to start at the beginning of the mission. So it's roughly half an hour into the first film is when the second film starts, and then it's all Elder Martin. So people know what to expect.
Well, I love that. And like I said, I'm excited for, the audience and participants to be able to see, your guys' creative work on this companion to Heart of Africa. So Elias, tell us about your experience with this whole project. I know that you said that you did the music, but then you also came in and did some editing for Tshoper as well. And so kind of tell us how that worked for you from your perspective.
Well, Tshoper was stuck here because of COVID. And so I had an extra computer that I could set up at the Youngs while he was there, and he was doing a lot of editing. And then the hard part, as far as video editing, was when he finally got back home, got to Africa. And when this happens all the time in film, we were supposed to have a locked picture, and he's like, well, we still have some edits that I really want to do. So he did a whole bunch of editing over in the Congo. And then there was no way logistically to get all those edits here. And so he had to just kind of do an export of the entire film with all the new edits and then send it to me. And then I kind of overlaid that on the film as it was before, and then figured out all the edits that he had done to it. So I redid all of those final edits myself on my computer here in the States, and then we got it to the theaters, and I was running around to theaters and stuff. It was a very different process in the first film because there was a budget and there were teams of people. The second one, it was kind of just Tshoper and I getting it from beginning to end from what we had to work with. So,
and Bruce also did a great job following us, trying to figure out how to send things. Yeah.
I guess the first step was inviting Brandon in to do the voiceover. So that was just recorded in this room. And we went from there.
And, I also appreciate your job as the music. As I told you, the second film have to be like an American spirit. So the music has to be like American music, something like that, mix African and American music. And I think you did a very good job.
Well, thank you. So yeah, the first film was kind of a dance between the main character and the two Africans who are fighting for his allegiance. But this film it starts out with the American, seeing this savage land that is ugly, and he's got all these stereotypes. And then you get to closer to the end of the film, and he's realized the Congo is gorgeous, and so the music reflects that. And then at the very end, it's kind of a mix between Africa and America when they start working together and both seeing each other for who they are.
That's great. Thank you for that information. I know, Tshoper, you were, like Elias said, you were stuck here last year. How long did it take with all the COVID stuff before you were actually able to go back home?
I was stuck from February to July, I think for 5 months, something like that. It was very, I mean, it was good to stay in America, and Margaret and Bruce are just very good people. And Elias is also in the neighbor. So I was able to see them and to be with them, but I really missed my family a lot. So, and my country, my inspirations and all of that. It was very difficult, but it was an experience. And it was a kind of specific experience. So that's something I can tell and laugh now.
Right, because 2020 wasn't very funny when we were walking through it, was it? So Tshoper, tell us, you said that you were away from your family. So tell us who's your family? You have a wife and children?
Yeah, I have a wife. Her name is Deborah Bassa, and two daughters, 6-year-old and 3-year-old. So
Now, do you use them in your film projects at all?
my wife is a filmmaker like me. She's a director and producer. And my two childs, they are very child. They are not, but I made a film, A Letter to Paxi. That film is for for Paxi. It was a kind of dédicace, and it's a very good film, won many awards around the world. And I'm editing a second film. It's dedicated to my second daughter. So it's not a letter to Kiss, because her name is Kiss. It's not a letter to Kiss, but I didn't yet find the title. So it's a kind of like a dedication, huh, Bruce?
Dedication?
Dedication to my daughters, yes.
Well, that's wonderful. That's wonderful.
My wish is to see them making movie, maybe when they will, yeah, we don't know, well, we never know.
And I think they'll probably come by it naturally because of you and your wife. So it's kind of, you know, going to be inbred into them in their blood, because they watch their parents, you know, make great films and tell great stories. So we look forward to more of those from you. So you said your wife is a filmmaker as well. Now, is she submitting any of her film projects to film festivals as well?
Yes, her film Awa, and the English version was subtitled by Bruce and Margaret, and thank you for that. And her last film, Awa, a short film, is now running in many festivals around the world. I can send you also the link so you can have an idea of what about is.
Yeah, we would love that.
Yeah.
Excellent. So Bruce, tell us what is next for Bruce and Margaret Young?
Well, you don't have enough time to hear everything that we have in mind. I'm actually, I'm a full-time professor at Brigham Young University, and I'm retiring this summer. So then I'll only have one job instead of two. But we're planning to go to the Congo in September to be part of the film festival that Tshoper runs there, or that he started in Kinshasa. And we are working on other projects as well, including another film that Tshoper is going to be making called Patrice Lumumba. Lumumba was the first prime minister of the independent Congo and is considered to be one of the great figures in the history of Africa and the world. He was assassinated, unfortunately, a few months into his tenure as prime minister, with collusion of other nations, including Belgium and the United States. But we're going to focus on him as a person, just an amazing person, an inspiring person, and we're hoping to make a really great film, or encouraging, helping, as Tshoper makes a great film. I should add, by the way, that my wife's involvement includes, in all of the projects, includes usually two things. One is inspiration. She just has this dream of things that she would like to see happen. And that passion helps make things happen. It gets other people involved and helps them happen. The other is that she is the co-writer of both of our Heart of Africa films, along with Tshoper. So Margaret and Tshoper are the co-writers of both films.
Well, that sounds great. Congratulations on your partial retirement. It just means that we have more time to do other things that we love. So congratulations to you and Margaret on that. And we look forward to, more film projects submitted to the Branson Film Festival from, your guys's group. So we've loved what we've received so far. And we hope that you continue to see our film festival as something that, you want to partner with. And, we definitely want to partner with you. So thank you so much for that. And we look forward to the future. So Elias, what's next for you as far as film projects go?
Oh, that's a good question. I've been teaching at a college just as an adjunct as well. I teach electronic music and jazz and pop and rock history and stuff like that. So I just kind of got some other part-time things. Been doing post-production for some people, and I want to start a very small little film company that does family histories locally. Mainly because my family needs me at home so often because my wife is handicapped. But I'm always looking for the next project and usually find them. Not a lot in the pipeline.
That's great. So if someone wanted to reach you for music for their project, how would they do that?
SEliasJames.com.
So you heard that. Elias James.
Well, S is in Samuel. SEliasJames.com.
Okay, perfect. So you heard it here, folks. If you're looking for someone to help you out with music, Elias is your guy. All right, guys. Well, I really appreciate you guys taking the time to get hooked up with me today for another interview. Bruce, we look forward to seeing you and hopefully some of your team on the virtual festival for next week. Starts Thursday, the 22nd, and then runs through Saturday, the 24th. And I'm going to do a little side conversation with you, Bruce, because we had a little idea. And so I'll talk to you on the side about that and see if that's something that you would be interested in doing with us for the festival this year. So thank you again, Tshoper, for taking your time out to be with us again today and, share your story with us. And we look forward to more in the future.